Are you spiritually in check? Hi guys, I'm Vivacious Hannah and welcome to this video. So in my last video I mentioned that I was reading through Romans and I came across Romans 12 and found something pretty interesting in here. This is verses 9 to 21 and I'm sure there's tons of videos out there on this exact topic. Why not have one more? In this passage, the author of Romans, Paul, gives us a little spiritual checklist. So the very first thing he says in this passage is to love, which obviously, if we're Christians, we know that loving is the most important command of them all. I mean, let's just be honest. You can sum up the 10 commandments in love God and love others as yourself. He makes sure to say, though, that we should love with brotherly affection. So it's not just focused on husband and wife love. No, we should love everyone as our family. For a good chunk of us, we would do anything for our families. We would die for our family members. And I know that there are some people out there who just can't relate, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That sucks. Like, I'll be your family. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ anyways, right? Also in this passage, he not only tells us to avoid evil and cling to good, he actually tells us at the very end to overcome evil by doing good and being good. I feel like doing good and being good are two different things because you can be a murderer and, do good by paying for someone's cup of coffee or something, giving change to a homeless person, but you can be good and that means you won't be a murderer. So basically, strive to both be and do good. He also tells us to outdo one another with honor, and it kind of reminds me of a certain scene from The Office. Dwight brings in, I think, bagels to try to get Michael to owe him one so that he can fire Jim, and then Andy just takes that as a sign that, oh, I gotta compete with you for doing this whole one-upping you thing. So they're opening doors for each other, they're escorting each other to their desks. I like to think that's kind of what we should do, but not in the sense that we're prideful about it. We should be honorable because it's the Christ-like thing to do. We shouldn't ever do anything to draw attention to ourselves, which I know that probably seems kind of ironic considering that I started this YouTube for myself, but I'm learning. I like the way verse 11 is worded in my Bible. It says, "Do not be slothful in zeal." How are we so blessed to have a word slothful that means lazy? Is it just me, or do you guys think sloths are awesome? But anyways, we shouldn't be lazy. Sitting around and doing nothing isn't gonna get us into heaven. It's not gonna get us into heaven. I'm not the judge there. But being a follower of Christ is hard work. He tells us to take up our cross daily and follow him. And obviously, we don't have literal crosses to carry around. It's more of a spiritual cross. But imagine just how much effort you would have to put into carrying an actual cross. That's the same effort we should be putting into our faith. And I need to take these words to heart. I am terrible at this. I am not perfect. If you guys don't get that vibe already, then here it is for you. I'm not perfect vibes. That is the lamest thing I've done. Now, there's kind of a section on persecution, and the first thing I want to touch on is rejoice in hope. Even when everything seems so dark around us, we still have a hope in Jesus that he's gonna come back, that he's gonna save us, and that he's gonna, kind of give people what's coming to them. And I don't mean that in a salty, sassy way. I literally mean that. It's not karma. It's gonna be God's judgment. He also tells us to be patient, which goes along with hope, because when we're in our darkest moments, sometimes these things just take time, and that's something that I'm learning so much right now. I do not like learning this lesson. I hate being patient. Another example of why I'm not perfect, but it's definitely something we all need to work on. Paul also tells us to bless our persecutors. If people are persecuting you, show them love in any way you can. Don't show them hatred of any kind. I don't like to deal with rude people, so chances are I'm not going to be the most loving person, but if you're being persecuted, just try your best, I guess. Great advice, Hannah. And of course, don't avenge evil and don't repay people for what they've done, because like I said, God's gonna come back and judge them. Ultimately, they're gonna have to face his wrath, not ours. And of course, that is not what we should be doing to scare people. Oh, you're gay? You're gonna go to hell. Really? I'm not saying stand up for the things you think are wrong, but don't tell these people they're going to hell. Don't hate on them. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. It seems to be a concept that people just cannot understand. Oh, calm down, Hannah, calm down. He even says to help your enemies. And I quote, "If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink." One big point in here that he doesn't really emphasize on that much is to be constant in prayer. And I feel like that's not a theme throughout the Bible necessarily. Like prayer in itself can't be a theme. I guess being constant in prayer could be. Not really though. Here we go. Prayer is crucial to faith. Thank you, AP English. And I'm not gonna expand on this mostly because one of my friends actually wrote a whole blog post about prayer and it's really insightful. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. I'll go ahead and link that down in the description. And of course, we're called to help others with their needs, kind of like the Acts Church. You know, they sold all of their possessions and helped those who needed it. And that does kind of go with my next point, which is that we should live in a state of peace with all people. I've said this before and I'll probably say it for the rest of my life, but if we need to argue about something, it should be about actual Christ-like things and again, not about people going to hell. We can't expect people who aren't Christians to align with Christian beliefs. If they don't believe in God, why would they feel the need to follow our rules? We're also told in this passage to empathize with other people. Empathy is like actually weeping with people or rejoicing with them, which is actually exactly what this passage says. And the last thing, which I'm going to call the 4 H's, we are called to be hospitable, humble, harmonious, and honorable. I don't think I need to explain any of those. So that's basically the checklist that we're given. I actually wrote all of these down. I would encourage you guys to do the same. Just tack it up like in your bedroom or something. Look at it every once in a while. Just see what you could be doing to change at least one of these things. I would say maybe work on one at a time instead of all of them at a time because that is insane. When you're in school, you don't go straight to the insane classes. You start small and learn this stuff and take steps to get to that point. So anyways, I hope you guys learned from this. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any thoughts. I always enjoy reading comments. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Push the little bell by the subscribe button if you want to be like super notified when I put out a video. And I guess I will see you guys next time. Now go out there and make someone smile today.